Good afternoon. It's Thursday, February 2nd, 2017. Groundhog Day. From all Western New York News and Radio, I'm Scott Leffler. In case you were wondering, yes, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter. Closer to home, there's a slight chance of snow showers this afternoon with a high near 28 and an overnight low around 14. Friday will be partly sunny with a high near 20. What's in the news? Congress members Brian Higgins, Chris Collins, Louise Slaughter, and Tom Reed joined Flight 3407 families in a roundtable discussion with top House of Representatives transportation leaders Wednesday to emphasize the importance of protecting the hard-fought aviation safety improvements achieved in recent years. February 12th will mark the 8th anniversary of the crash of Colgan Air Flight 3407 in Clarence. Following the 2009 tragedy, the families who lost loved ones as a result of the crash became vocal advocates of the fight for flight safety reform and, working with the Western New York delegation, won the passage of a number of measures toward the goal of providing one level of safety for the flying public. As a result, we've seen over 7 years without a fatal regional airline crash. The Airline Safety and Federal Aviation Administration Extension Act of 2010 included pilot fatigue rules with rest time requirements, pilot qualification rules including a requirement for co-pilots to attain 1,500 hours of flight time experience, and transparency for ticket purchasers requiring full disclosure of the air carrier operating flights. The current FAA reauthorization will expire at the end of September. Congressman Brian Higgins announced the House of Representatives has approved H.R. 677, the Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear Intelligence and Information Sharing Act of 2017. The bill introduced by Representative Martha McSally includes language introduced by Representative Higgins requiring the Department of Homeland Security to conduct a risk assessment prior to transportation of nuclear waste over the Peace Bridge. Congressman Chris Collins likes President Trump's pick for the Supreme Court. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand doesn't. In fact, she says she'll not only vote against him, but push for a requirement of 60 votes to confirm him. Gillibrand hasn't liked many of Trump's nominees. She's voted against more than most Democrats, and that's saying a lot. 48-year-old Troy Malecki of Williamsville pleaded guilty to possession of child pornography depicting minors less than 12 years of age. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. Jason M. Smith, age 36, of Tonawanda, who was convicted of production of child pornography, was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Prosecutors say Smith was producing child porn at his Byron Avenue residence in Tonawanda. The investigation determined that between 2010 and 2012, Smith coerced a child less than 12 years old to engage in sexually explicit conduct and produced a visual depiction of the conduct. Between July 2011 and September 2013, Smith coerced another individual, a 15-year-old girl he met online, to engage in sexual intercourse and took pictures of the conduct. In addition, the investigation determined that the defendant sexually assaulted at least 5 more underage female victims. A forensic review of Smith's electronic devices recovered over 1,000 images of child pornography. Kevin Teal, age 53, of Corning, was arrested and charged by criminal complaint with receipt of child pornography. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. 6 former employees of local Mexican restaurants pleaded guilty to illegal re-entry charges following an investigation by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, and the New York State Department of Taxation. And former mayor of Dunkirk, Richard L. Fry, pleaded guilty to wire fraud, admitting to engaging in a scheme to defraud his mayoral campaign and supporters by stealing campaign contributions for his personal benefit. Prosecutors say that between 2003 and 2012, Fry pocketed some campaign contributions and used them for personal use. Police news. A 51-year-old Olean woman and her 26-year-old son were charged Wednesday with second-degree murder following the death of a 57-year-old Clarksville man. According to state police, around 12:30 a.m. Wednesday, the State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigation responded to investigate the death of Royce A. Chapman at his residence at 8754 County Road 40. Following investigation, state police charged Lana M. Joseph, who had a former relationship with the victim, and Richard D. Mosher III, Joseph's son. The defendants were remanded to Allegheny County Jail in lieu of $50,000 cash or $100,000 bond. A 27-year-old Frewsburg man was arrested Tuesday by U.S. Marshals and the New York State Police for being a fugitive from justice. Jonathan Carlson was wanted out of Licking County, Ohio, for aggravated possession of drugs and was located by the above agencies hiding in a crawl space in his father's residence. Charles Newkirk, age 33 of Buffalo, was arrested and charged by criminal complaint with conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute heroin and fentanyl. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a $1 million fine. Sports! The Buffalo Sabres take on the New York Rangers at Key Bank Center tonight. Puck drops at 7:30 p.m. Bob Confer discusses next week's lunar eclipse in his column this morning, Exploring the Niagara Frontier. There's still time to vote for your favorite pizza and your favorite January photo. Do both at allwesternnewyorknews.com, where you will also find Bob's column and a podcast to last night's Think So Joe show, just in case you missed it. Download the podcast and listen to it over and over and over again if you want. Okay, that's the news for All Western New York News and Radio. I'm Scott Leffler. Have a great day.